To order. Today is Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. This is a Prescott City Council voting session. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any announcements?
Well, it's certainly nice to see Mayor Harvey Skoog with us, and wonderful to have you here in the chambers. I would like to say we have a parade coming up. It's going to be on Saturday, 1 o'clock. Hope everyone comes, and then the following week we have the Christmas lighting. So it's a great time for Prescott.
Lots of good events coming up. That's right. Thank you. All right, we're going to have an invocation by Father Ian Emil Dunn with All Saints Anglican Church, and then following that, Mayor Pro Tem will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. O God, the fountain of wisdom, whose statutes are good and gracious, and whose law is truth, we thank you for our beautiful city of Prescott and the men and women who faithfully serve it. We pray that you would guide and bless this city council, that it may ordain for our governance only such things as please you, to the glory of your name and the welfare of the people, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. Let's call roll, please.
Mayor Mangarelli.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Orr.
Here.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Good.
Here.
Councilman Lamerson.
Here.
Councilwoman Scholl. Here. Councilman Sischka.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. Let's move on to proclamations.
First proclamation is Mayor Harvey Skoog Day, November 27th, 2018.
The Skoogster.
Up here?
Yes, sir.
The Skoogster.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to announce and proclaim today Harvey Skoog Day. And Harvey has always been very helpful and accommodating to me. I'm actually very sad to see him go. He's someone I look up to and want to emulate. And he's been a great partner for us regionally, always willing to support Prescott and our airport recently. So I look up to Harvey. He's a real statesman. He's somebody that is well respected in our region. And so it's my real pleasure
Well, thank you.
to do this today, Harvey. Whereas Mayor Skoog has served the town of Prescott Valley as mayor for 20 years and also served on the town council for 5 years. And whereas after more than 25 years of public service, Mayor Skoog will officially retire when his current term comes to an end in December 2018. That's coming up pretty quick.
Real quick.
Yeah. Whereas Mayor Skoog has served on a number of boards, including the Homeland Security Senior Advisory Committee for the state of Arizona, on the Arizona League of Cities and Towns Executive Board, as well as chairman of the Greater Arizona Mayors Association. And whereas during his time as mayor, Mr. Skoog has been integral to the growth and development of Prescott Valley, while the population increased from 4,000 to 40,000. It's actually a little more than 40,000. Yeah. Road and sewer systems have been developed, and entertainment venues and shopping locations have been added, ever increasing the town's marketability. And whereas in addition to his dedication to the town of Prescott Valley, Mayor Skoog has always provided regional cooperation in the Tri-City area. And whereas Mayor Skoog's dedication to his community and our state has earned him the respect and admiration of his staff and peers, now, therefore, Greg L. Mingarelli, that's me, Mayor of the City of Prescott, do hereby proclaim November 27, 2018 as Harvey Skoog Day, and encourage all citizens to recognize Mayor Skoog's time at the town of Prescott Valley and his dedicated public service. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Greg.
I'll let you say a few words, just a few.
Thank you, Greg. The mayor has said I can say a few words. Well, that would never happen. It's so good to see you all. What a great town Prescott is. What a great council they have and their staff. Just a wonderful community. And of course, it makes us very happy because we can work together with that. And it's helped both communities. And I know sometimes people get worried about us. We had a pastor come up to give an invocation, and we thought he would pray for the council. After he looked at us, he prayed for the town. So we do the best we can. But it's so good to see you all. And thank you, Greg. What a super mayor you have, and great council. It's just really a nice thing for us. We do appreciate being able to work with them. And we're lucky because Chino Valley also has a real good council and a good staff. And our Dewey Humboldt neighbors to the east and south of us, they have a excellent mayor and good council. So right now the leadership in the Quad Cities has been very good. I look at our staff. Staff is number one. They're the top of people in town hall. Then below them come the commissioners and the council. And at the bottom is the mayor. But guess who gets all the recognition and the blame? It's the mayor. Well, thank you so much. What a event. I don't know if I deserve all those nice compliments. But I want to thank you all. And thank you, Greg. Thank you to the council. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
The next proclamation is Patient Blood Management Week, December 3rd through the 7th, 2018.
Well, it's my pleasure to read this proclamation. I'm on the Board of Trustees for Yavapai Regional Medical Center, and it's an incredible organization. So, we are proclaiming Patient Blood Management Awareness Week, December 3rd through 7th, 2018. Whereas, the City of Prescott is pleased to join Yavapai Regional Medical Center, located in our city, as it celebrates Patient Blood Management Awareness Week. And whereas Yavapai Regional Medical Center is staffed by professionals with a commitment to improving patient outcomes through optimal blood management. And whereas patient blood management is the appropriate provision and use of blood, its components and derivatives, and strategies to reduce or avoid the need for a blood transfusion. And whereas Patient Blood Management Awareness Week speaks to the concerns of every person to have the best health care available to them, respecting individual preferences and beliefs, and continuing education of healthcare professionals to provide that care. And whereas we commend the members of Yavapai Regional Medical Center for extending themselves in service to others according to their commitment to improving patient outcomes. Now, therefore, Greg Mingarelli, Mayor of the City of Prescott, does hereby proclaim December 3rd through 7th, 2018 as Patient Blood Management Awareness Week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Should I make a couple comments?
Please do.
I'll keep it brief. I'm getting over a cold, so it's hard to talk. When Yavapai Regional Medical Center started to develop this program in 2012, we knew there would be good outcomes, and we've seen a lot of really good results. As was read, this is all about managing your blood, keeping it in you if possible, and making sure it's as healthy as possible and functioning. And to the degree, through all the different things that we do in patient blood management, to the degree that we can avoid the use of another human's blood in you, that's just good, because it's that much less exposure to risk, that much less exposure to harm. And it preserves this resource for when it is truly needed, which is a good thing. So not only has it allowed the hospital to use that resource when needed, but it also allows the hospital to save, because blood transfusions are very costly to deliver safely. And then those resources have been put to other programs and other therapies and other equipment. So it's a win-win for the community, and we have such great respect for the council for recognizing that this has been good for the community, and we'll continue to work hard at it. So thank you for raising awareness through the proclamation too. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's move on to presentations, please.
First presentation is funds raised from John Hanna Senior Guns and Hoses Golf Tournament.
Good afternoon, Mayor Mangarelli and members of the council. Thank you for having me here today to do this presentation. The 5th annual John Hanna Senior Guns and Hoses Memorial Golf Tournament took place at Antelope Hills in late August this year. We had another great tournament, which could not have been done without the many volunteers and golfers, hole sponsors, and donations of raffle prizes from the many merchants and individuals. I wanted to give an special acknowledgement to Lamb Chevrolet, who stepped up this year to be our main sponsor. And we're going to be working with them from now on. They've agreed to help sponsor the tournament, so we're very grateful for that. Every year, this tournament splits the proceeds from the whole sponsorships and the raffle prize ticket money between the Prescott Explorer program and the Prescott Firefighter Charities. Since this tournament started 5 years ago, I can't believe it's been 5 years, we've raised nearly $30,000 over those 5 years, including this year, to be split between those two organizations to help them. So at this time, I would like the members of the Prescott Police Explorer Program and the Prescott Firefighter Charities to come forward. Please introduce yourselves, and then I'll present the checks. Thank you.
Check.
Matthew Claseri.
Gavin Bennett.
Hi there, I'm Joe Harris.
Sergeant Ben Scott.
Jeremy Sarge.
Captain Alan Snyder.
And Jeff Jones.
Smile, Bill.
Suck it in, guys. All right, 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for what you do in our community. Let's move on to the next presentation.
Prescott Economic Development Magazine.
I'll start here. Mark's pulling it up. Mayor and Council John Heine with the Economic Development and Tourism Office. We wanted to share with you some good news about an award that we won, and working with Rox Media to put together our Economic Development Magazine. I'm going to introduce Elaine Earle with Rox Media to share a little bit with you about it.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your attention on this. This was kind of a random idea that I approached John and Wendy about a year ago. We did it in another smaller city in Arizona. But what we found as publishers, I publish the Prescott Living magazine, as a lot of you are aware of. We do the city visitor guide. We do the chamber directory. What we found with working with another mayor in a city is there wasn't anything that really promoted economic development. And in a lot of ways, economic development is different than what the chamber's mission is or what's visitor. And this is really promoting cities to employ our graduates from Embry-Riddle or from Yavapai College, and having one comprehensive piece that tells the story of why Prescott. So what we did is we know that a lot of times the budget doesn't exist to create these publications. What we did is we found sponsors to pay for it. So the piece did not cost the city of Prescott anything. And really what it ended up being is a really great 76-page magazine, which many of you have already seen. I did bring extra copies if anyone in the audience wanted one. But not only that, the whole project was just incredible. Not only did I learn a lot about Prescott, I actually visited every sponsor myself. So I went and I visited Ruger and Cobham and Embry-Riddle and Yavapai College and YRMC. I went to about 40 different places. I went to just about every place associated with the airport, including North Air and Legends, is it Legends Aviation, got tours of all of them, got all sorts of ideas from these business leaders on what they need to keep, to find good employees, to get suppliers to move here, to get people to hire our graduates. I got, I'd say 95% positive feedback, 5% negative. It was good. Usually the negative is maybe on skilled labor or hiring minimum wage employees, for example, in the case of like a Ruger or somewhere like that. So just all sorts of ideas, even worked with a number of contractors. So that's who paid for this, and they were very active participants. We actually finished the project in March, and we're going to go to print literally the day that Great Lakes pulled out. So we held it, and then we were very fortunate to be able to hold it, tell the sponsors we were holding it for a reason, and we were able to get United in here as well. So that's in here. We printed 10,000 copies. It's being distributed through the sponsors themselves and also the city economic development. So you have these in the hands of the major hospitality, such as Margot Christensen participated from Ponderosa Hotel Management, Prescott Resort, anything from hospitality, education, healthcare, quality of life, contracting, business development. These are in the hands of a lot of people that it's really a city to business audience. It's not necessarily meant for the consumer that would pick it up at a grocery store or something like that. So I think we've accomplished our mission, and not only that, the city won an award for it. So I don't know if you want to, the city and Rox Media are actually members of Arizona Association of Economic Development, and annually they have a Golden Prospector Award. So we created a presentation so that they could win the award. We are just the contracted publisher. We can't take credit for all the efforts here. This whole thing was written from scratch by Ray Newton, who's sitting in the corner over here, which a lot of you know him. Our art team did it, and then we worked with John and Wendy. I can't tell you how many times we went through it over and over, because you want to get it right if you're going to be sending a message out. So we have all kinds of accolades in here. I would encourage you just to read it, because you can learn about Prescott even if you're not necessarily a business prospector. We have every accolade in here that's of importance that the city's received, and how many of those are there? 29 of them or something? There's a lot of them. So I mean, just an incredible effort on everyone's part, and I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I'll say that I was equally as blessed. I learned a lot about this community, and it's just a great community. So I didn't necessarily go through the slides. But
Oh, that's okay. I would think I was supposed to advance it. I
Yeah,
apologize.
okay.
But no, first of all, we want to thank Elaine again, because it was really, she brought the idea to us, as we mentioned. We met with the mayor of Casa Grande, who had done this, and he was all for this. We brought it to our leadership, and they said, let's absolutely do this. Yes, Wendy and I got to be the editors. We spent a lot of time back and forth, as Elaine said. But again, we wanted to get it right. Elaine did an amazing job reaching out to these folks and getting the sponsorship. We even had, early in the game, we got one sponsor, and they took one page. And then they found out that another sponsor, similar, competitor business, took 2 pages. So they said, we'll take 6. So, I mean, it was like that kind of a thing where we kind of had, we had a lot of interest. And I think we do plan to do this again.
Yeah.
And we're already getting great feedback from it. Wendy and I just delivered some to a realty office today, and got a call back within an hour, I think, and they said, this is phenomenal. This is a great piece. So we were fortunate to get the award. Elaine put the presentation together, and we got to take the credit for it. So just wanted to make you aware of that.
Well, it's great. Elaine, thank you to you and Rock for your efforts in our community and investing in our community. We really appreciate all the publications you put out. It's tremendous, excellent work. So thank you for your efforts. And Wendy and John, great job. On behalf of the City Council, thank you all for your work.
And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. You can have that back.
Okay, let's move on to item number 8, consent agenda. Is there anything any member of the council would like to pull from the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull item A and B.
Item A and B. Okay. Entertain a motion.
May I recommend to move, I move to approve consent agenda items 8C through 8F.
Second. We have a motion and second. Please vote.
item.
You want to vote yes or no?
Got to do a vote yes.
Councilman Blair?
Here.
Passes 7-0.
Always takes us a little bit on that first vote. Okay, let's see. Item 8A. Meeting minutes.
Yes, Mayor, I just had a very small correction I'd like to make. When I look over the minutes, I try to put myself in the position of maybe a citizen who's reviewing our activities in the council, and I want to make sure it's clear what we're discussing. So on packet page number 9, where Mayor Pro Tem Orr and I both commented about the numbers that were presented during the discussion on impact fees, the minutes just say the numbers being presented seemed rather low, and I wanted to add the population growth projection numbers seemed rather low. So that just clarifies what numbers we were discussing.
Okay.
The only correction I'd like to make.
Okay. With that, we'll entertain a motion with that change.
Mayor, move to approve consent agenda item 8A.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Okay. Then let's move on to item 8B.
Mayor, I wanted to pull this item since we are renewing a marketing contract with Front Burner Media, and I would like to get some report on the effectiveness of the first year's contract so we know what we're reinvesting in. So I asked John Heine to put some numbers together for me so I could have a better understanding of how effective our investment was.
Very good. John?
Mayor and Council, John Heine with the Tourism Office. Yes, wanted to share with you some information about our first year. Really, we've actually been in contract with Front Burner Media, I believe, since 2015. And what we did last year was we redid a 2-year contract. So we've seen a lot of great results, and we have some numbers definitely to share with you as well. So some of the metrics that we use in tourism to measure success is, with bed taxes, we call Smith Travel Research or STR reports. And that measures things like hotel occupancy rating. And just looking at year over year, we started the contract October 1 of 2017. Year over year, our occupancy rate has increased 2.8%. And I can tell you, and Margot Christensen is here, she's on our TAC committee, we can tell you that there's other segments in Arizona that have not seen increases, actually have had some decreases. So we have continued on an upswing. We believe our marketing had a lot to do with that. In media, part of what Heather's job is to help us get earned media or publicity in local newspapers. And we actually were very fortunate. Timing was very good. Arizona Central just published something about holiday light shows around the state. And basically this piece alone is going to reach about 1.2 million viewers. With an estimated, if you kind of compare it to equivalent ad value, about $37,800. Overall, since the contract started a year ago, $14.2 million in equivalent ad value research. We're getting stories in Arizona Central. We're getting stories in the AAA magazine. We're in LA Times, LA Magazine. We're getting a lot of press. So that adds up pretty quickly in equivalent ad dollars as well. So our website, statistics, in 2017, for the entire year of 2017, we had 93,000 users. We're on pace for 125,000 this year. And again, all of our advertising and our messaging drives people to the website so that they can learn about our events, even book a room if they want to. So we're seeing increases there as well. Another interesting thing we did about a year ago is we established a special 800 number. Actually, the city owned a couple of 800 numbers that were dormant. We assigned one to some print advertising that we've done in True West Magazine and different publications. Those calls go right to the visitor center, to the Chamber Visitor Center, and we've doubled the number of calls on a monthly basis just in a year for that as well. Speaking of the visitor centers, the stats, we get monthly reports from the visitor center. Very compelling if we're comparing October to October. Walk-ins, they had This year, they had 2,571 just for the month of October. That's compared to 1,687 in 17. That's a 52% increase in walk-in traffic. International guests, people from, basically UK, Germany, Canada, those are up. We had 62 last month. That's up 244% from the previous year. So we've had a huge increase in visitation, and we do a lot of international. Heather goes to international trade missions and shows on behalf of Prescott with the Arizona Office of Tourism. So we know that we're reaching those audiences and getting to those people. Phone calls at the, which includes our 800 number. Phone calls at the center, 1,633, up from 1,131 last year. That's a 30% increase. So all indicators that we use to measure are up significantly. So we do believe the marketing is working. We're getting a lot of good anecdotal feedback. People talking about having seen our ads in Los Angeles and Phoenix, and we feel it's working really well.
Well, I think it's certainly not a significant budget allocation. It's pretty modest, but those numbers are pretty impressive, and certainly looks like we're getting a significant return on our investment. So I would move that we approve item 8B.
Second that.
Okay. And Mayor Pro Tem has a quick comment.
Yes, I'd just like to say, as the council liaison to the Tourism Advisory Committee, I have seen the growth. You just feel it when we're at the meetings and our committee working together. I believe our bed tax is from 600,000 to right at 900,000. This year we're probably going to go past $1 million, and 250,000 of that goes back to our community in the form to our museums, to the rodeo, to all the activities, the downtown concerts that we do. So we actually are taking bed tax and not only bringing people into our city, but also giving back to our citizens. And I think that's important that we emphasize that as much as we can, every chance we can. Because it's not just about tourism, it's also about giving back to communities. So appreciate, Heather, all that you've done. The whole Tourism Advisory Committee, Margot chairs that. You guys are just an awesome team. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Councilman Lamerson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Margot. Thank you, John. Somebody on the front lines in business in downtown, I see a difference, and I think they're doing a good job.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and second. Everyone please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Let's move on to item 9A on the regular agenda.
Award of city contract to Capital Improvements, LLC for the Montezuma and Sheldon Street Sewer Relocation Project.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Eric Bay with Public Works. This next item is for the relocation and upsizing of a portion of the Montezuma trunk main near the intersection of Montezuma Street and Sheldon Street. So the Montezuma trunk main is an existing trunk main that is undersized and aged, has been identified by our model for upsizing replacement in the next few years. Due to impending development in this particular area, city staff has accelerated the design schedule for this particular portion of the trunk main. And we're going to get this in the ground, finish the underground improvements for the sewer before we come back with new surface improvements. So this really is a win-win-win type scenario. The first win being that a undersized, aged, and candidly operationally complex portion of our system gets cleaned up earlier than we anticipated. The second win is that this clear alignment clears out a footprint for any impending development in the area. The third win, of course, is that we will have these underground improvements already in place. So in a couple years, when we do the rest of the trunk main, we don't have to come back and tear up recently installed improvements. The city publicly bid this project. We received 4 responsive bids. The apparent low was Capital Improvements LLC. We already held a pre-award meeting with the contractor. He's comfortable with his bid. We're comfortable with the contractor and his workmanship, and we are recommending award at this time. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions, comments from the council? Councilman Lamerson?
Thank you. It's rewarding, again, being somebody who's in business in downtown, seeing another downtown business step up to significantly save this community. The difference in the price, if you notice, is a couple of $100,000. I want to personally thank Capital Improvements for making this kind of a bid to improve the opportunities for the downtown district in Prescott.
Quick question. Are they going to be allowed to do any night work to expedite the installation of that sewer main so it's not done during the day?
There's no night work anticipated for this one. We believe that the construction schedule, although expedited to finish in time for any development that may come into the area, it's reasonable for the amount of work that needs to be completed during the day.
Okay.
Other questions, comments from the council? Any public comment, Maureen? Okay. At this point, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to award city contract number 2019-134 to Capital Improvements, LLC, for the Montezuma and Sheldon Street Sewer Relocation Project in the amount of $584,200. Funding is available in the wastewater fund.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
And let's go to item 9B.
Award of city contract to Asphalt Paving and Supply Incorporated for the Carlton Street and South Cortez Street Reconstruction Project.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Craig Dotseth of Public Works. So today the theme is downtown. So the project I bring forward to you is the reconstruction of Carlton and Cortez Streets. We're working on Carlton from Mile High Middle School through the intersection of Cortez, and Cortez from the Goodwin intersection through the intersection of Carlton. The reconstruction will consist of replacement of the water system, some sewer replacement, the addition of storm sewer on Carlton Street, selective curb and gutter replacement, and full pavement replacement. The project has received right-sizing reductions in scope from what were previously being considered in the area. And the project timeline is on a compressed schedule to work with local businesses and complete the construction around downtown events. So our construction is planned to start right after Acker Night and be done prior to April when we have Whiskey Off-Road and other events start back in, as well as working with businesses in the area as well to have as short a schedule as possible. The portion of the project by Mile High Middle School will also be scheduled to utilize the Christmas break to reduce school impacts. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, this is a good project, Craig. I'm probably going to steal Councilman Blair's thunder here a little bit, but whenever I drive into City Hall, I have a certain route I take on Carlton. So yeah, well, I'm gonna have to retrain myself that when this is done, I can just drive, straight through there. But thanks for your work on this. This is much needed, and I'm certain all of us have received a few comments here and there from the public about those couple streets. So it'll be nice to have this completed. Councilman Blair.
Yeah, I appreciate that and getting it done. It was much needed, but I also want to say thank you of my hesitation for Mile High Middle School alley. That project turned out very well. That ties into this one as well. So
seems like it's working well.
The overall work that was done on that was done with some discrepancy on my part, but not going to like it. Changing old things in Prescott sometimes don't work well, but it has turned out to be a very good project. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And one other item that I should emphasize from this. So when we bid this project, we ended up with 3 or 4 bids.
Oh yeah, you had somebody withdraw.
With 4 bids, and the apparent low that we initially started negotiations with ultimately identified that they had a mistake in their bid process, and they requested withdraw. So our recommendation to go forward with Asphalt Paving and Supply was the number 2 bid on this project, but that's why we're recommending them.
Yep, understood. Thank you for that clarification. Councilman Good?
Yeah, I also wanted to thank you, Craig, for getting this project done. I've heard a lot of comments about this, the project and the streets, and it's certainly about time. So I want to congratulate you and your staff for kind of streamlining the design, bid, and award process and getting this project started. So I know there's been a lot of comments from people in the community that they're being inconvenienced by all the projects that are going forward, but I think we're finally getting them done in a timely manner, and I think everyone's going to appreciate it once they're completed. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
Well, I will just say I think Gil Garner's looks great. Willow Creek is wonderful. So you guys are doing a great job, and I'm really looking forward to this. The last parade we had, I had my little sister walking with us, and she actually fell in a hole in Carlton. And so it's going to be good to get it fixed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to award city contract number 2019-140 to Asphalt Paving and Supply for the Carlton Street and South Cortez Street reconstruction project.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Hey, Mayor, before you give your blessing, I want to share that I appreciate looking at our police officers with beards and thank our chief for not having one.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Blair. Our quote today is from Ronald Reagan. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. This meeting is adjourned.